No, I'm not. I think it's probably too early for them. I think they've got quite a few obstacles to overcome when it comes to getting their mine set up. Um, Still got a few permits that they need to secure before they can start mining in Sweden. Um, but I think once they get started, it's a pretty promising stock. See what I can bring up, but at the moment, as you know, they're not profitable. There's no operations going on, so it makes it very difficult for me to put money into that company. But what are your thoughts? I'll just bring up their this is their financials. They got enough cash in the bank, but yeah, I just think the equity's dropping. Not yet for Talga. SYR. Let's have a look. Syra. So not super familiar with Syra. It looks like they're bringing in some revenue, which tells me that they've probably started operations. Just have a look. Is Syra not being purchased by Northern Star, or is that somebody else? Let's have a look. Yeah, so they're operating in Africa, which is pretty cool. Here's an image of what they're doing. Or not. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, Northern Star, I'm really keen on that company. I mean, I'll be making a video soon, but I think Northern Star is going to be one of my next purchases. I was actually speaking to one of my friends who used to work for Northern Star, and essentially their strategy is to purchase mines that have been mothballed, that people, I guess, don't consider viable anymore, and they're super effective at getting more life out of mines, and they're just experts at finding more gold. So Northern Star, if we have a look at their Northern Star's price movement, it's been incredible. I mean, put it up on screen, but it's just straight line price movement all the way up. There's ups and downs, yes, but that's just a linear price movement. And looking at their financials, they're awesome. You know, I've done a full check on everything I can go through, and Northern Star, nothing bad, nothing bad to say about that company. I think they're terrific. So I'll do a video on that soon, and you'll see. Yeah, I might do full reasoning about why I'm purchasing it and why I think it's such a good company. Rusty Car, what's your opinion on Crown Resorts? Well, I'm currently holding Crown. I was really worried at one point because, as you probably know, they're probably going to get their license revoked, their gambling license revoked in Sydney for their new Banger development. And whilst Banger is a hotel as well, the thing is, the gambling's the main source of revenue, and if they lose that, it's a bit concerning. But they do operate in Perth and Melbourne, so they do continue operations there. But I think their investment in Sydney, the intention was for it to be, you know, a gambling mecca to bring in international gamblers, and I'm not sure whether they can do that now, especially with COVID. So Yeah, it's one to watch. I did purchase them and I am slightly up, I think. Let's have a look. So Crown Resorts here. Yeah, $100 up. Not the worst, not the best. But yeah, lucky not to lose money on them. I think I got them at a pretty good price. I think now, you know, I can't see this going anywhere. They've been pretty flat for a few years, so it might be one that I begin to offload, I think. See how we go though. All right, what's up next? What's going on with Doe? Could they be in big trouble? Spiro, yes, agreed. I think we saw another neobank. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Sinja. And they actually stopped operating. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I'll pull this up. So neobank Sinja closes as COVID bites capital raising ability. So I think they've given back their banking license and essentially they just couldn't do it anymore. Incredibly tough call for all of us. Not sure what the reason was in particular. Yeah, but it's not looking good. I think Doe had a slightly different operating model in the sense that they were never planning on getting a banking license. However, if one goes down, the others may follow pretty quickly. I'd be wary of Doe. I mean, they've just IPO'd. What's their price doing? DOU. Not even appearing. Yeah, okay, so they've had a pretty big tail off since that sort of spike. I guess you always know when you see this vertical price movement that things will come back down. It's pretty unnormal or unusual market movement. So yeah, tailing off now. Been some bad news about Sinja. I guess it's one to watch and just to monitor all of their other competitors. I think, is it 6428 is another one? 64,800, something like that. Might have got that completely wrong. If somebody knows what that one's called, let me know. I've forgotten. But yeah, I think overall, Doe, yes, could have been a good idea, but I think they were looking to build momentum, get some customers on board, and then they were going to offer a subscription service in order to make their company viable. So if we're seeing other neobanks fold, I don't think it's good news. But look, could come out on top. We'll see, but one to monitor, I guess. Rusty Car again. What's your opinion on, I think that's Tabcorp? Will they split? So Tabcorp, I think they've got their lotto business and then also their bookmaking business, and did a video on this a few weeks ago, and essentially their lotto business is the most profitable side of things, and they license some of that to Jumbo Interactive, which has been doing really well. I'll show you Jumbo's price movement. So Jumbo, put this up on screen a bit bigger. Jumbo, as you can see, had a massive blow off top here, and then they've sort of fizzled. But Jumbo runs lotteries, but they get their licenses from Tabcorp. We can see here Tabcorp. Last year it's done okay, but 5 years pretty flat. So look, I personally probably not too interested in either company. I like something more like PointsBet. PointsBet, we know, has had a pretty good run. And I think the significant thing about PointsBet versus Jumbo or Tabcorp is that they're entering the US market and they're doing pretty well. I was considering getting in about here, and then they had this capital raising share split situation, and the price went off, onto a bit of a rocket launch there. So is it good value yet? I'm not sure. I need to see a few more results, I think, to make sure that they are capitalizing on the US market. Essentially, there's going to be other big players coming from, especially the UK. You've got companies like Flutter, who own pretty much every bookmaker you can imagine, and it's going to be really difficult for PointsBet to compete against someone like this. They own Betfair and a lot of different large bookmakers that we see in Australia and overseas. Look at the share price, £15,000 per share. Incredible company, and there's another one. There's another one in the UK, which is just pretty much a giant, and they buy everyone. They bought Sportsbet, Ladbrokes, Betfair. It's going to be tough for PointsBet, but if they can do it, I think that share price we're seeing at the moment will be, that's nothing. If PointsBet can get a hold in the US market and it's legalized more in a number of states, which we might see now that we've got the Democrats in. They're less conservative, so we might see the bookmaking market open up. And if it does and PointsBet do well, this could be a huge stock going into 2021, 2022. Do you invest in international shares, King Korean? At the moment, no. I've got a ETF. I'll pull that up. So at the moment, I've got this one, the iShares S&P 500. This was the way I was sort of accessing US shares because, one, it makes it easy, and there's no extra brokerage than you would normally pay, and probably because I haven't researched the US stocks in as much detail as I have the Australian ones, so I feel more comfortable putting my money into an ETF. Having said that, now that Self-Wealth is offering US trading, as you can see, I can search in here. I can purchase Tesla now on Self-Wealth, which is awesome. I think maybe now it might be a good time to start looking into a few US stocks and making some individual purchases. I mean, you've got some incredible companies available, like MasterCard. Awesome price movement. If you have a look at this stock over the past 10 years, again, we're looking at this linear price movement. There's some great companies, MasterCard, Visa, Johnson & Johnson, Boeing. I think you'd be silly not to consider some US stocks. They really, as we know, the S&Ps perform better than the ASX, and that's why I've got that ETF. It's done well. I think it's returned 15%. It's said on that other page. So US stocks, certainly one that I think we should all become more familiar with. Not to say that there's not opportunity in Australia. There certainly is, and I think we've got an advantage because we live here. We know what to look for. Having said that, I think investing in a few excellent companies in the US when they're at the right price, it would be an excellent idea, especially someone like MasterCard or Visa, Apple at the right price, Microsoft, etc. You know them all, but maybe that's, if you'd like to see me make some videos on US stocks, I think that would be good. It would help me sort of understand them better. Let me know if you want to see some US stock videos. I'd be happy to do that. Morning, BC. Can you look into PointsBet and Afterpay? Yes, so I just went over PointsBet a little bit. In summary, sort of said they could be huge if they can capture more market share in the US. Obviously, one of the issues in the US is that not all the states have legalized sports betting. If they do, then yes, huge potential from PointsBet. However, we mentioned that there's a few, mostly British, massive bookies that typically come in and buy everybody up. I think if PointsBet does get a foothold, it's certainly ripe for being bought out. So I like PointsBet. I'm just waiting to see them gain a little bit more traction in the US. And if they can, I think they're a great investment. It certainly beats something like Tabcorp, which is only focused in the Australian market. Certainly a lot more potential in the US. Afterpay. Yes, let's have a look at Afterpay. $116. Doesn't seem to end, does it? Yeah, look, Afterpay back down around here, I remember speaking to one of my mates and he said, just bought, I can't remember what it was, bought something and I can't believe it. I don't need to pay the full amount. I can split it into 4 payments and there's no interest. And I said to him, it's a scam. You've got to be paying interest on whatever you've bought if you're deferring the payments. Should have listened to him, should have invested around here, that $19, $20 mark. Look where we are now. The company seems to be focusing on heavy growth. They're profitable, I think, but not by a big margin. So, and the market they're going into, from my perspective, I think is pretty high competition. I don't really know. I know PayPal's just brought out something, a very similar service, and for me, I just can't see how the business model is sustainable, especially when you've got these big credit card companies and PayPal, and then other smaller buy now, pay later stocks like Zip and Split It. It's a super congested area of the market. All the best to them, but I just think it's going to be a really tough run. If they can do it, great. But just for that reason, I think personally, Afterpay is pretty much not one that I'd personally consider. I'm happy to look into the stock if you'd like to see a video on them. And for sure, if you invested in them at any point along this timeline, you've done very well. So, and I think also the owner of the company sold out, and that's not great news. So I think, yeah, Nick Molnar may have sold out of Afterpay. And if you see that, you sort of kind of got to question what the future of the company is, really. Yeah, Nick Molnar sells shares. Sell down 22 million shares each. I'm not sure what that leaves them with. 2 million shares a piece, 10%. That's not too bad. I guess we could have a look at, if we go to Afterpay on Market Index. Market Index is great. It gives us a good breakdown of who the top holders are. Okay, so yeah. So here he is, Nick, 6%. So not a controlling interest. Who's the other guy? Yeah, Eason. So together they've got 12-13% of the company, which is a couple of votes on the board, but it's certainly they're not in control of the company. So if you have a look at a company like Dicker Data, which I made a video on yesterday, and you look at their ownership structure, you've got the top 2 shareholders. They're the founders, and they've got 60-70% of the company, which means they can do as they please. If they feel like pushing the company in a certain direction, they can do that. Afterpay's founders, on the other hand, not possible. You know, they've got big institutional investors who are really controlling what that company does now. So that's keeping me from investing in Afterpay. Things might change, but that's the way it is at the moment. Where are we up to? Doe has been suspended since 21st of December. Oh yeah, a backdoor listing. Not sure about that. I haven't heard that news. Backdoor listing. If you could shed some more light on that, Spiro, that'd be great. Yeah, haven't heard about that one. That's quite interesting. King Korean, I like your work in biopharma companies. Could you look into Polynovo and Recce Pharmaceuticals? Both are working on some really cool. So I've done a video on Polynovo. Let's have a look for that. Yeah, so this one I did with, just pull that up in the browser. So yeah, this one is on Polynovo. And yeah, I like the company. I think they're great. Certainly, you know, Australian manufacturer of biotech technology is always something that we seem to be good at. Yeah, I think Polynovo, especially their latest price movement, has been excellent. See their 5-year movement, yeah, terrific company. I'll go over more about them in the video. From memory, they produce, I think it's artificial skin for grafts at the moment. But yeah, certainly a highly experienced and technical company. I can see this going up and up and up. Someone made a comment the other day that Polynovo could be the next CSL, and I certainly believe that. I think they're a good company, nothing bad to say about them. At the moment, not investing because I think their price is probably a little bit higher than it should be. If we have a look at on Yahoo Finance, I'll just make this a bit bigger. So this gives us an idea of how far above this 1 week moving average their price is at the moment. So yes, I'd buy Polynovo, but at 350, it's way above the moving average. Certainly try and purchase around or just under the moving average mark. Otherwise, I think you're probably overpaying a little bit, not in every circumstance, but yeah, nothing against the company. I think they're great, but I'd be waiting for something around the $2.50 mark before investing. Rusty Car, MXC pot stock, my one and only opinion. All right, let's have a look at them. MXC, haven't heard of this company. MCG Pharmaceuticals, penny stock. Yeah, don't know a lot about MCG Pharmaceuticals. Obviously, very small market cap, 50 million. Let me know if it's something I should look into. Rusty Car, is there anything about that company that you like in particular? If there is, or you think they've got a certain edge on the market, let me know and I'll look a bit further into them. Yeah, happy to look at them. The only issue I'd have with something with a market cap so small is the volume of trading. If you've got to get out of a stock quickly, and the market cap and the volume of trading is so small, sometimes you can get stuck, especially if there's some bad news. That's my only hesitation about a company that's so small. Usually try and look at companies that are a little bit bigger, maybe 100 million plus, but yeah, certainly if there's something you know about the company that sets them apart, let me know and I'm happy to look into them. King Korean, E-commerce like Kogan and Redbubble. Yeah, 100%. So Kogan, I think I've done a video on Kogan. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have. Let's have a look. Kogan, I've invested into myself. I think they're a good company. We've sort of had a bit of a tail off recently, but I'm a firm believer that they'll come back. Yeah, I think maybe Kogan was in maybe one of these winners and losers. Yeah, this one here, the COVID winners and losers. Talked a little bit about Kogan in that one. Top pandemic stocks. You can have a look at that one if you'd like. Sorry, I've put that on the wrong screen. So yeah, this one here has Kogan in it. Yeah, feel free to come back and watch this video. This one didn't do so well, only 200 views, but yeah, so talked a bit about Kogan in that one. You're welcome to have a look at that. In terms of Redbubble, yeah, I could do a video on that company. Considering using it myself, I haven't quite managed to get any artwork up onto Redbubble. I think the concept is great, and I know they have recently turned profitable, which is a big step. You could probably pull up their financials quickly and see what they're doing. Does anyone know their code? Redbubble ASX RBL. Redbubble Limited. Yeah, okay. So, gee, pretty steep price movement. Financials, nice consistent revenue. Let's have a look. Cash on hand, yeah, doing really nicely. Just turn that off. Let's have a look at equity. No long-term debt. A little bit of debt, but it's been reducing. Gee, pretty good overall. Total equity, a bit all over the place, but not too bad. And then let's have a look at their income after tax. Net income after taxes, so still negative, but this might be a bit outdated. No, 2020. Okay, so perhaps still not profitable. That's not a great graph for net income after taxes. Not sure why that is, so I'd have to have a look, but yeah, maybe that's a topic for an upcoming video. Maybe they are one to look into, but yeah, Kogan definitely in that other video. Where are we now? Pat, hey mate, what's your opinion on investing in ETFs and index funds versus individual stocks? Betting on the market over individual. Yeah, I think if you bet on the market and you're consistent with your investments and you're constantly contributing, you'll do well over the long term for sure. There's nothing wrong with investing in ETFs. I've invested in ETFs. I currently hold ETFs, and it certainly requires a lot less work. So the difference with investing in individual stocks is if you can understand what companies are going to do well, and you can invest well in individual stocks, typical market return from an ETF might be 6, 7, 8%. If you invest well in individual stocks, you're going to be looking at potentially 15 to 20%. And when you look at compounding interest and how your money grows over time, compounding at 15 or 20%, I think there's a compounding rule about how quickly your money doubles. See if I can pull it up. Yeah. So 10% interest, which would be a really high performing ETF, you could double your initial investment every 7 years. So that's 72. So it's the rule of 72. So if I pull up this calculator, so you divide whatever your expected rate of return is into 72, and that will tell you how many years it will take for your money to double. So at 5%, your money will double every 14 years. At 10%, your money will double every 7 years, which is not bad. But if we're going to look at something like a 15% return, every 5 years your money doubles. So if you invest 100 grand, in 5 years it's 200, in 10 years it's 400, which is pretty incredible. And if you put that up to something like 20%, all of a sudden, every 3.5 years, you're doubling your money. So you don't need to pull it off for long. If you can pull off 20% returns for 3.5 years, you double your money. I think that's what draws me into investing in individual stocks, especially while I'm young and I've got, a little bit of time to burn. If I was a little bit older, I might think maybe it's not worth it. We'll just go for an ETF. But I think learning about companies and trying to invest in a way that will return 15+%, I think makes a lot of sense when you're young, in order to try and, as I said, double your money every 3.5 years. It's a bit of a pipe dream, but certainly if we look at, if I go to my portfolio, some stocks haven't done that well, but when you look at Beach Energy, for example, that's a 30% return. That's way above what we need. Crown Resorts has been 10, Goodman 10. An ETF has returned 15%. That's the S&P 500 ETF. That's a terrific return. You can see most of these have done pretty well. And then we've had some losers like Pushpay, but I think Pushpay will turn around for sure. So I think, what am I running at the moment? So total is about 700. Just do the maths on that quickly. Divided by 10 or 40. I'm running at about 7.1% at the moment, which is about what you'd get in an ETF. So not that great, but I really think some of those companies like Pushpay long term will do really well. So I think in a few months that will turn into 10 plus, and then we're really gathering some momentum. But I'll do a few more videos on my portfolio, because in the next couple of months I'll be making some more purchases and really getting this thing going. And then that's something we can track as we go. Crez, I was considering buying Afterpay when it was, so was I. We can all dream. Look, if you've been on the Afterpay boat, then well done. What an awesome stock to be on board. But like I said, at the current price, I just can't. With the ownership structure, the current price, and the competition, I can't justify it. I think there's better options out there. That ship sailed, in my opinion. I know it's still going up. It was only $90 not too long ago, but someone like Polynovo, you would have done a lot better had you put your money in them instead of Afterpay over the past few months. If you put your money in Polynovo in October, you've almost doubled your money, or not quite, maybe 50% plus gain. So there's always other opportunities. I wouldn't be too worried about it. King Korean, thoughts on commodities like copper, nickel, lithium, and rare earth metals? I think Linus will benefit from the US-China trade tensions and the US looking to diversify rare earth supply. The big what you notice is that a lot of the lithium miners we've got in Australia will also have an iron ore component to their operations, which is just a much more stable resource. BHP and Rio Tinto produce a lot of copper and nickel. But like you say, the world is heavily dependent on China for lithium and graphene, or graphite. And that's what companies like Talga, Novonix, they're trying to break that chain of supply. And I think Novonix are looking at mining locally in the US, which brings with it big tax concessions and advantages. Obviously, the US is keen to reduce reliance on China as well. And then Talga Resources, on the other hand, are looking in Sweden, and each has their benefit. Novonix is looking to supply Ford, GM, Tesla locally, whereas Talga is looking to supply Volkswagen, Porsche, Audi, Jaguar, all of these types of European car manufacturers. So Linus, I'll have a quick look at them. I'm not super familiar. I have seen them. LYC. Yeah, wow. Look at that movement. Headquarters in Malaysia. Okay. So what do they mine? See if they'll tell us. As I said, usually it's a mix and they don't really rely on one. The only producer of separated rare earth outside of China. Wow. Rare earth deposit is in Mount Weld. That's an interesting company. And then they process it in Malaysia. Why can't they process it here? Crazy. Okay, awesome. That's a good company. Maybe I'll definitely have a look at them in an upcoming video. That's yeah, that sounds good. Thanks for the comment, King Korean. And another one, I liked your broker reviews. Any chance you could review Superhero? Yeah, I think that's gee, I've got a few videos to make, don't I? Yeah, look, I've seen Superhero as well, and it looks like a really clean, well thought out broker service. There's a guy on YouTube that I like to watch. His name's Joseph Carlson, and he's in the US, and he's a dividend investor, and he uses the platform, not Robinhood, it's called M1 Finance, and M1 Finance has got a beautiful interface, and we can't get it here, but it's fantastic. Just the way portfolio allocations and the way you can track dividends, especially, is just, you know, it's better than anything we've got. I'm using Self-Wealth at the moment, which it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's better now that you can purchase US stocks, but their mobile app is average at best, and their dividend tracking is pretty much non-existent. So there's huge room for improvement in the Australian online broker market, I think. And if Superhero can bring it up to the level that M1 Finance is providing, then, you know, it might be worthy of a switch. So maybe that's something I'll do. I'll check out Superhero and see how far off they are from something like M1. But yeah, it's a good video idea. So thanks for that, King Korean. Rusty Car ISR, any thoughts? Not familiar with that ticker code. I'll have to have a look. ISR Copper. Says they're delisted. ISR Group. Yeah, sorry, might move on. If you don't think they're delisted or there's another code, let me know. Stephen, Polynovo's 3 directors sold around 3.8. So use, yeah, okay. Do you know their names? I might have a look. Just pull up their ownership structure quickly. Yeah, so is it Bruce and Leon? Yeah. Let's have a look. So yeah, okay. Largest HSBC is the largest holder. So I think you're right. There's no one there. Certainly no major shareholders which appear to be on the board of directors. So yeah, that is worth looking into. Again, Stephen, if you can let me know those 3 directors' names, I'm interested in that, and I'll have a look and see, yeah, when they left. That's interesting. King Kurian, thoughts on Vulcan Energy? They're trying to be carbon-3 lithium. I'm trying to research them more. Vulcan Energy. $4. Okay. Wow. Look at that. Straight line up. Yeah. Okay. I'll have a look at Vulcan as well. Put them on the list. Current return 2,100%. That's not bad. Yeah. Okay. So Europe's largest lithium resource. This sounds like a Talga equivalent for lithium rather than graphite. First and only zero carbon lithium process. Battery grade lithium hydroxide. Appointment of former Tesla director. Wow. Very interesting company. I think that's certainly going on the list. Thanks for that, King Kurian. Krez, you're with MCG, wasted money. Yeah, like I said, penny stock, don't know much about it. If it's worth looking into, then let me know, but that comment probably doesn't inspire confidence. Rusty Car, AGL, and Santos, best for potential for growth. I hold AGL in another portfolio, and it's done really, really poorly. There's an opportunity that you could purchase AGL for its underlying assets. They own a huge amount of energy infrastructure around Australia. They do pay a good dividend, but I think they're focused on gas, and as we're starting to see the federal government's gas-led recovery and gas-led switch to renewables is meeting a lot of pressure, and it's getting stuck in headwinds. And I don't know about AGL. It's not on my radar. I just think that they've just been doing so poorly for so long. Pull up their price, and I think they're, blow this up. That's not good. That's 5 years. That's where I've been. That's the journey I've been on with AGL. So yeah, once upon a time, as you can see, they were doing some terrific things up until about the GFC, and then the world started to change and we began to shift towards renewables, and maybe they could take a turn, but certainly it's a slow grower. Except for this period, it's been very, very slow, consistent growth, and at the moment that's just not something that really interests me. BC, have you bought or sold any of the PointsBet options? No, I haven't. I haven't invested in PointsBet just yet. I'm just just being patient, I think, still. I do think they're worthy of investment, and I do like the company, but I'm keen to see their next round of results. I'm going to have a look at when that will be. PointsBet. So 24th of Feb, we get an interim report. I think have a look at that. I might do a quick video just reviewing those results, and then I'll make a decision after that whether or not I think it's the right time to invest. King Korean, yeah, a video on Redbubble or Recce Pharmaceuticals would be amazing. I do sell my art designs on the platform, and it's pretty easy to do. Check out Chill Indian. Cool. There's a plug. If anyone wants to check out King Korean's artwork, go and do that. Help support the man. Yeah, so cool. I'll definitely look into it, doing a video on Redbubble. Recce Pharmaceuticals, I haven't really heard of them. Okay, pretty small market cap. Some interesting movement. Yeah, I'll have a look into them. What do they do? It doesn't tell me much. Company. Anti-infective therapies. Superbugs and emerging viral pathogens. Synthetic anti-infectives. Is that a vaccine? It says antibiotic on the bottle. Interesting. What sets them apart, I wonder? Or who's their main competition? I wouldn't know. You know, apart from the big boys that we've all heard of, like Moderna, AstraZeneca. How do these guys compare? Is there any competition? I don't know. It might be a good one to have a look at. I do like the biotech stocks, so yeah, 100%. We'll have a look at that. Good morning, Yasir. Jasmine, thoughts on where Zip is headed this year? Yeah, let's pull them up. I was just speaking about Afterpay before, and I think one of the main reasons I'm hesitant about investing in Afterpay now, as opposed to 5 years ago, it would have been a good option. But the buy now pay later space is so much competition. Initially from these emerging companies like Afterpay, Zip, Split It, but now we're seeing big boy players like PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, sort of throwing their hand on the table, and I think it's going to be a really tough road ahead. I know I've created an online store before, and I tried to get Afterpay on board, and their merchant fee, now this might change for a larger store, but they were looking to take a 6% cut on what I was selling, and that just wasn't worth it. Despite the increased customer business, it's really expensive to implement. So I think Zip has a slightly different model in terms of the way it charges merchants. So that could be a benefit in their favor. And I think maybe I heard some news that they were partnering with MasterCard. I could be wrong. To be honest, I haven't been tracking Zip very closely just because I'm not confident in the buy now pay later space. But maybe it is worthy of a video. It's something I'll consider. But yeah, it's hard to get out of Afterpay shadow, that's for sure. So one to consider. I might look at that in the future, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Please give your views on Doe. Yeah, someone mentioned this before, that they've gone into a trading halt. We know they had some fantastic price movement late 2020, but they've sort of fallen off since then. We were talking about one of the other neobanks, I think called Sinja, and they've gone under. They've packed up and closed shop. There was another one, I think it's called 6428, or I can't remember, 86400, maybe that's it. I was trying to find it before, but couldn't remember the name. There it is, yeah, 86400. So Up is another one, but that's owned by NAB. Sinja is gone. So there's a couple of these small neobanks, and we've seen one fold now. And we know that Doe was really earning nothing from doing what it was doing, and it was planning on implementing a subscription service for their banking data. They weren't planning on getting a banking license at any stage, so I'd be watching the competition. We've seen Sinja fold, so look, it's not looking good, and I'm not sure what the trading halt was in regards to. I'm sorry, I haven't been keeping up with it, but maybe that's something I'll do an update on. But I think overall, it's looking a little bit concerning in this neobank space. So certainly one to watch going forward. Mr. TJ, g'day mate. Are you partnering with subscribers for any ideas and feedback? Am I partnering with subscribers? Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Yes, video ideas. People have been giving me heaps of different stocks to look at, and certainly some that I've seen that are super interesting. So been getting some great video ideas, and then feedback on videos. Yeah, if you've got feedback, room for improvement, things you'd like to see, let me know. That'd be awesome. Really appreciate any feedback. Matthew Kennedy. Last year, Uni Super Global Environmental Opportunities returned 40%. Yeah, I think the environmental ETFs have been doing exceptionally well. There's another one, I think it's called the Ethical ETF, which has also done extremely well. Might it be this one, the Beta Shares Ethical ETF? Not sure what the ticker code is. IMPQ ETHI, I think that's it. Yeah, so the Global Sustainability Leaders, similar one. Have a look at this. 1 year, 5 years, yeah, straight line up. Awesome. Purchase that. If you purchase that in start of 2020, you've done, what is that? About 7.5, 10.9. Yeah, you've done 32%. Pretty good. So yeah, similar. I think a lot of this is due to, obviously there's a shift now to clean, green energy, and we've seen the reciprocal effect on something like New Hope. You know, here's your run-of-the-mill coal stock, which is just absolutely tanked. And interestingly, Washington Soul Patts is heavily invested in the coal miners, yet we're seeing this price movement, which is incredible. I mean, look at the rebound from, it's not even, COVID essentially. It's been a huge rebound, but their underlying holdings are mostly in coal. So Washington Soul Patts is the opposite to an ethical ETF, yet their price movement has been better, if not similar to an ethical ETF. So maybe a mix of the two would be a good decision. I'm not sure, but have you invested in the Uni Super One? Yeah, let me know. I think I did a video going over Soul Pats a little bit, and they were getting some heat in their AGM about the Paris Agreement, which has sort of said we're not going to use coal past 2030. But I think they've recognised that there's always going to be developing countries that can't afford sustainable energy, and they're going to need coal to develop their economy. And not only that, we need coal for steel making. You can't make steel with electricity at the moment. Certainly that's a technology that's underway, but for now, coking coal is essential. But concerning that China's put a bit of a block on our coal exports, so we'll see where that goes. So the dough, we've been over that one. LYC. There was a mining boom in Australia when LYC built the Malaysia plant. Easy to get the workforce. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, LYC is one of those companies, Mr. TJ, that yeah, looks like a ripper and something I need to look into and make a video on. I'll just pull that one up. That's Linus Rare Earth. Yeah, one Linus, and I think was it Vulcan was the other one. Two miners which are got some awesome properties, I guess, about the company. Linus being the only company that's doing rare earth metals outside of China, and I think it was Vulcan had some pretty major operations as well. So some good ones to look into. Rusty Car, LSR. Lodestar, another penny stock. Yep. Okay. Is there anything about them in particular? Let me know. Otherwise, yeah, that market cap is tiny. 12 mil, probably something I'd stay away from until they get a bit bigger. Matthew Kennedy, a couple of sleepers worth watching. SEN and TTT. We'll have a quick look at them. Sanitas, another penny. Fair enough. Encryption security. Okay. Yep. Again, probably, unless there's something super convincing about a penny stock, I prefer to wait until they're a little larger and there's a bit more trading volume. You don't want to get stuck in a falling penny stock that you can't get out of. So, but look, it may have merit. So, and TTT is the other one. Have a look at that. TTT, okay, bit bigger, 72 mil. Hasn't had a great run recently. Is there anything about TTT you like in particular? Let me know. Artist saying you should check out Biotech. Okay, 200 million market cap. Yeah. Okay, cool. Aged Care Diagnostics. Interesting. Yeah, not super familiar with these guys. Haven't really heard of them before, but they've had a pretty good year, that's for sure. Let's see what their webpage says. Managing the surface properties, speed up delivery. Interesting. Yeah, might be one to have a look at. Again, if there's anything you know in particular about the company that's worth investigating further, let me know. All right, guys, I reckon that might be that might be all for today. We've been going for a good hour. Thanks so much for joining. I'll probably post this as a video, just in case anybody missed it. But yeah, thanks for your input. Appreciate your support. Obviously, thanks for watching the videos. The channel's growing and continues to do so. So thanks very much. Okay, so rapid COVID detection. Yeah, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely want to look at that. I'll put that on the list. Cheers. Okay, unless anyone's got anything else, thanks very much for watching, and I'll probably do another live stream, maybe midweek, maybe Wednesday night or something. So stay tuned for that. We might get a few more people on board, but yeah, we'll see how we go. So thanks very much, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.